Hello, good evening. I'm very happy to have you here as our guest tonight. My name is Matt, and I'm the host tonight of the show Fast Track Money. Fast Track Money is the show where you can actually learn about how to bring your life fast forward in terms of money. Today, unfortunately, my co-host Yasel, my friend, is not here with us, but I will guide you through tonight's session. The topic tonight is when can you retire? And we will see tonight that actually the retirement question is usually something very special, because a lot of people are not aware that you are the person actually who can decide by yourself when you actually can retire. And especially in these times now, some governments, they are short on cash. Retirement solutions are maybe not as good as previously planned, or not as sustainable. So it looks like that in some places the retirement age is going higher. One of these places is Switzerland. Just last week it was announced that it's planned for women now to have the retirement age higher from 64 to 65 years. And I thought this is a very good moment to probably bring this up and talk with you guys that retirement should not be something, or it can be different, right? You don't have to wait for the government to give you the green light as to when and how to retire. That's the whole point here. And tonight I want to share with you that actually to plan ahead and take care of this retirement thing by yourself, if you can. If you're still young, the younger you are, the higher is your chance to actually get this right. And the more time you have actually to achieve your goals financially as well. So retirement age is increasing globally. You have to invest for that. So if you don't invest for it, your government has to invest for it. If the government is screwing this job up, you cannot complain there. At the end, maybe simply you have to work longer. And if you think you can do a better job than the government, you can try, right? And maybe you don't have to wait until you're 65, 67, or 70 years old, or whatever it will be by the time you reach that age. And yeah, they're actually just take care of it. Another thing that a lot of people are afraid of recently is that they will outlive their retirement benefits. That means in the US, I know that about 49% of all Americans, they fear that they will not have enough saved because maybe they will reach 100 years old and then maybe they will run out of money eventually. So that's another reason, because once you're 90 and you feel, oh, in about 5 years I'm out of money, and you're healthy and happy and you keep on living, you don't want this to be a problem for you, because you cannot go back to the workforce at 95, right? Just imagine. So the good news is today I'm here to tell you that you can take care of this by yourself, starting right now. And for that, why don't we dig into retirement planning 101 tonight? And I prepared something, so let's see how this works. I'm a first timer here to share the screen. I will see how this works. I have a retirement plan, actually a calculator that I want to show you guys, and feel free to write to me. If you have anything, we can take a live example. If somebody is eager to share their numbers with us, don't be shy, you can use fake numbers. And eventually this could be very interesting, because you can see how actually retirement planning can be something that is something you can actually, okay, here we go. Now we are on the retirement calculator. So this is a so-called FIRE calculator. Maybe I talk about FIRE. FIRE is an acronym. It stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And this calculator here basically will show you how much after income, after tax you have in income, after spending, how much you have left. You can put in your age, you can put in your investments, the current investments, and then you can actually even choose your portfolio, how many percent you have in bonds, in stocks, how much actually in cash. And even here you can say, okay, I believe my income is still growing. Maybe you are young, you are in the blossoming time of your career. So why don't we dig in? And at the end, you see probably here that the blue line is what you basically save up. And the green line will be what the financial markets can help you to achieve. So the green line is what you actually can make from investments. And you see this red thing here in the middle. This is actually nothing else than your FIRE target. And you see with the numbers that we have chosen here, it looks like that this person still has to work 21.3 years and will be able to retire at age 53, which is not too bad, right? If you think of it. So why don't we take somebody that is pretty young? Let's start with 25 years old. Maybe this 25-year-old has 10,000 savings. And let's say because you're 25 years old. Okay, somebody asked, can you make the chart full screen? Let's see, that's a good question. I can choose something else. This one better? Maybe a little bit bigger. I can maybe see if I can increase the size. I cannot make it full screen, but like this, maybe you guys can see it better, I hope. That's probably the biggest I can do. Thank you for the input, Tony. Appreciate it. So let's say you are 25 and you have 10,000 to start with. And now because you're 25, you go very aggressive. You put 100% in bonds. Now you see, oh, you cannot have 120% because this calculator doesn't allow you to go into leverage. So we put bonds at 0 and we put cash at 0. Of course, you will have some cash aside, but we don't calculate this here. Now let's assume our average Joe starts with 60,000. And maybe, yes, life is expensive. You're 25 years old. You need to prepare a house. Maybe you really spend 45,000. This is, let's just take 50,000. Let's just do 50,000. So we have 10,000 spendings, so to say. Savings here, you see, is 10,000. But now you say, because you're very hardworking and you're young, why don't we assume your income grows by 5% per year? 5% per year means actually your income is growing, but here this calculator expects your spending amount not to change. So the trick is actually each year your saving will grow. And here you see you could even put in extra income, extra expenses if you have some ideas, right? And then here you could see at which age and it starts and ends with your extra expenses. So you could calculate for additional health expenses, or you could say, when I'm 40, I probably want to do something else. I can earn more here, but this goes very, very into details, so to say. So the important thing here is retirement spending is 40,000. So why don't we say we keep this at 50,000? And the target withdrawal rate should be 4%, which I will show you later with another calculator, is something that held true for most of the time of the last 100+ years. And the stock returns, the tax rate is even here. You can actually play with that around. At the moment, it's 7%. If you go to another country with lower tax, you see you need to work less. If you put it at 0, less again. Here you can play around. And at the end, you see here the stock returns is now calculated at 8.1%, which is the past few years, past 2 decades that you actually see translated. And this person now can retire at age 41 after 16.8 years of work. Now, what can we do? So let's say you think, okay, I think that's nice, but hey, come on, I want to supercharge that. So why don't we put in some extra income here, and you start the extra income at 30 and you end it at 40. So you put like some side hustle. Oh, wonderful. It pulls you earlier by 2 years. Now you can retire at 39. What if now you say, I will be even more aggressive for my income growth? And you see actually how this translates. Some people are very crazy in the FIRE community. They manage to save more than 50% of their salary. So let's say you probably are very frugal, but maybe you don't concentrate so much on pushing up your income growth. So let's say you have an inflation-adjusted 2% income growth, but let's assume you have 80,000 income and maybe just 40,000 spending. So that means like you can save half of your income. And also you see your retirement age is at 37. And you see here very simply, some people, they don't plan for that. Money comes in, money comes out. So let's say you earned 80K, you spend 75K. It's still not too bad. Okay, I delete now the extra income here, and this goes back. But actually, it's still not too bad. Before age 50, even though you don't really save too much, if you start early enough at age 25, you can retire at 47. So what if at 25 you didn't do it and you are 35 now? So we push this and you see the years just keep going higher. So again, the earlier you start, the more time it will be on your side and the further you can go. Now I have talked about this chart. There's maybe some things you may not understand within. So it's a FIRE calculator, so to say. And FIRE, they usually use this target withdrawal rate, safe withdrawal rate of 4%. Or actually, they say you have to save up and invest, not just save up and invest 25 years of your of your expenses. So 25 times your expected spending, that will be your retirement nest egg. If you have that and you invest it with discipline, don't chicken out when markets go down, stay the course, then you can do this. And for that, I want to show you based on what we believe this is holding true. I show you here an amazing tool. This is the FIRE calculator by the Poor Swiss. He's our friend. Please check out his amazing blog. He has a lot of great value. And here he actually shows you how you can simulate, like the starting year you see here is 1871. I try to increase the size a little bit so your eyes will not get too tired. You see actually here, how do you want to see how this basket withholds? So you can actually click on it and say, okay, if between 1871 and 2018, you have a withdrawal rate of 4%, which is what we just discussed, and you want to live off this portfolio of 30 years, you still have a 97.95% chance of success. And the amazing thing is, of course, if you have invested in 1932, you started in 1932, you actually will end up at the end of 30 years with an amount of 44,876. This is, of course, including the after game of the Second World War. And the other thing, 30 years is, if just a few years earlier you would do it, you see here the worst terminal value, if you actually get hit by the end of 20s, the big bust there, yeah, your terminal value is 0. So you see this, you can actually amend now. So let's say there are some studies that say there's the better times and the worst times. Some people say that baby boomers had a very good life because they grew up, lived through the whole time, the economic boom of after World War II. And let's say you are one of those. Maybe you retire at 1990. So for 30 years, now that's not quite 30 years, it will adjust for that. So click again. You have a 100% rate of success. And you see it's maybe not as stunning as the time after the Second World War, but still you actually tenfold your money with a 4% withdrawal rate. And now you can say, okay, what if I invest there and I go to 6% withdrawal rate? Oh, it's still 100% success, 8%. Oh yeah, now here you see there, it gets a little bit more difficult. So with 7% withdrawal rate, if you retired in 1990, it would still have been sufficient for you to fund your retirement for 30 years. And the interesting point here is now we don't know what will happen in the future, but we know what has happened in the past. So you can actually, if you think you want to be more on the conservative side, instead of 7 or 4, you can actually go down to 3%. And then maybe we go back, that was 1871, boom. We see again, okay, we have only a 0.07% chance. That probably depends on which day you put in your money at work. Go down to 2.8. and boom, you're at 100% chance of success if you're just a little bit below 3%. So this means including Second World War, the Great Depression of the 1930s, all the things that have happened since 1871, with a withdrawal rate of 2.8% and 100% invested in stocks, you always could retire. This then again, you can put in here, right? So target withdrawal rate, you put in here 2.8%. And you see it might cost you some years, and you can actually gain some security against that. So now, if you supercharge it, maybe to bore you a little bit more with that, you can actually see, well, we go back to 25, that's the better example, right? You can still retire at age 42 if you're very, very disciplined here. And so anyway, that's something you guys can play around. I will be sharing these links in the show notes afterwards. Please check out The Poor Swiss. He has an amazing blog. You can follow him on Twitter. You can subscribe his email list and say hi from us, from Yasser and myself. He's a great guy. Now we go back to the retirement discussion. So I think this is something important. Click. Okay, I can be on the side. Good. There we go. So you see that there are certain aspects that are important to plan your retirement. One is how much income you have. Second, how much expenses you have. And number three, what do you do with the difference? Do you invest it? And so on. So please start early. Try to boost your surplus. Put it to work. Invest it, right? And then you actually let it grow. You let it do the job. And another point that maybe is not so number-based, right? So actually to increase your income, you can do much more than just have a job. You can actually have side hustles. I have written a blog post about that. I think I'm diving into this as well. It's quite interesting. Here you see actually my blog post was about how to have income stream abundance, which means passive income doesn't just have to be from like dividends or things that are like in the usual mainstream. And here Warren Buffett already said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And this is something we try to avoid. Maybe as an analogy, very interesting here, you see if you have one income, this is one waterfall, right? And that waterfall will simply be that waterfall, and there will not be more water coming down that waterfall. If you are a couple, you are married, or you have two jobs, that could be the other way, right? You have two waterfalls, but that's it, two waterfalls. Is twice as good. If it's done together, yes, teamwork, great. But at the end, maybe two waterfalls might also not be enough, because maybe you have to feed 4, 5, or 6 people in your family. So the goal should be to create additional streams of income. Now here we have 3 waterfalls. And of course, the more waterfalls you have, the merrier it will be. The quicker your pool, your reserves will grow. And you can actually follow this one: create income, increase income, save, invest, and repeat. Rinse and repeat. The more you do that, the more this becomes a habit of yourself, the quicker you will reach retirement. You can do a lot of things. You can rent out rooms, do Airbnb, rent parking lots. And the more income streams you have, the harder it will be for you to keep track of all this money coming in. So if you one day reach the point where you forget when money is coming from where, it will be so good that actually you may cut away one of these income streams, which could be your job, and you don't have to wait until the government tells you now you are allowed to retire. To come back to this point. Second, also very important, retirement is something a lot of people look forward to, but on the other side, some people, they tend to forget that retirement is something. Some people might get depressed also when they get retired, if they don't want to get retired, right? So some people, they love their job, they have a purpose with their job. And if at the end somehow they lose their job and they have to sit aside and don't know what to do with their life, it's also not healthy. There has been a study that showed that people who get laid off or like early retired, if it's not their own choice, they have a shorter lifespan after retirement. Very often, I think the study showed that about 5-6 years into retirement, they passed away because they had an unfulfilled life. Sad, right? So that's why I think this is a very important concept, the Ikigai concept. Instead of, let's say somebody meets you for the first time and asks you, hey, who are you? A lot of people in the West, they will think, oh, who am I? And they will reply to you with their job. They say, oh, I am Matt, I am a banker, and oh yeah, who am I? I don't know more than that, right? And then if you lose your banker designation or your job, then who are you? Maybe you will think or end up thinking that you are nobody, and that would be very sad. So instead of that, try to find some purpose in your life. I really love the Ikigai concept, which is like, find something that, okay, a little side remark here. This is what they use on the island of Okinawa in Japan, where they have one of the highest life expectancies in the world. And instead of introducing themselves with their job, the Ikigai is the reason for being or the reason to get up in the morning. And even if you are retired from your job and whatever you do afterwards, as long as you have a purpose, you will have a happy life. So this is like finding your happiness in retirement. Do what you love, find something the world needs, get something that you can get paid for. If money is something that you enjoy, to get that. And of course, something that you're good at. If you combine all these, boom, you have your Ikigai. That's it. You can also check out my blog post on the Ikigai, which you can find on my blog. So this is about early retirement. I think these points are important because if you simply chase money, only money and nothing else, I think it will not be leading to happiness. Some people who just chase the money, they will never have enough. Money is something infinite. So if you chase for 1 million, you go back to your retirement calculator, you say, oh yes, I want to have 1 million, then I'm done. Guess what? Almost nobody will be done at 1 million. The people will see, oh yeah, now I have 1 million, but my friend, I think he's at 1.5 or he's at 2 million. So very quickly your goal will go higher. And maybe there's not even a reason for that. Maybe you think, oh yes, he said he's worried about the future. Maybe that and this is not good. So yes, why don't we aim for 2 million? And guess what? The moment you hit 2, the other guy will have 5 and so on and so forth. And then you will never reach at your destination, right? And then you keep chasing this thing and you actually just created another rat race for yourself where you cannot escape from. And this is not the goal of retirement planning. Of course, retirement, for me, the FIRE, financial independence, retire early, the RE, I also like of looking at the RE part as number 1, recreational employment, or number 2, you can call it retire to entrepreneurship, right? If you have something that you want to try out, if you are a good entrepreneur, start a company and you can actually afford it because you retired early, why not, right? You have not much to lose. The worst thing that happens is it didn't work, but you tried. And then one day you are, I don't know, 100 years old, lying on your deathbed and about to pass away. Well, it's very good. You tried, right? You don't regret for not trying. So if you live your life with the motto of having lesser regrets by the time you reach the end of it, it's probably better and it's a happier life. And that's also what early retirement can be good for. So a lot of people, they get very passive. Maybe towards the end of our show today, sorry, I just keep on talking here. If you have any questions, now is the time. Please write something in the comment section. I can be doing some Q&A here. But I think one of the very special points here is, just you probably don't know when. Right, when the end of the life comes, how will you measure your life? How to put that? It's a very deep topic. Will you measure your life in money? I don't think so. You cannot take it with you after that. Will you measure it in, I don't know, how much time you spent with your loved ones? Maybe your loved ones will, right? And that's probably something you can strive for. And if you just focus on your career and keep working until they let you go, that's maybe not so much the happiness thing. And The other thing I want to share with you, I think as a Swiss German national and speaker, mother tongue, I think it's very interesting. If you look at the German language, here we talk about you are getting retired. So the language in German, you are not retiring actively. It's like, ich werde pensioniert. It's you are getting let go. The German word for I'm retiring doesn't really exist. It's passive voice. And I think this is something that leads to mindset problems in a way, that people don't think this is something you can tackle yourself. So I think that's something very, very crucial. In English, you can say, I retire, or I plan to retire. I will retire. It's up to you. But in German, it's up to someone else. I think if you look at language, it's something hidden, but still very important. And the more you think about it, why not have it in your own control? And that's why this session, we try to show you, if you actually be diligent, you save up the difference between your income and your expenses, you keep investing it you saw that maybe just less than 30 years will be enough for most people. You can do it and you can retire, and in a safe way. Yeah, and retirement is maybe not always what you expect it to be. So people lose their life purpose. So the last thing I want to share with you is, don't retire from something. It's more like if you look for a retirement, retire towards something, retire to something. If you run away from something, then you will end up with something else, right? Better figure out where you want to be instead of just running away. That's the last point here. Good. Thank you. I see no questions so far. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please click the subscribe button for YouTube, follow our website, follow the Facebook, Financial Imagineer. This is the first time this show should have been visible on Financial Imagineer on Facebook. Very happy if you have joined that. Oh, Tony, thank you. So Tony is writing, let me see, I can show that. I think, yes, I can show this with everyone. Can we share this in a different way? So I have to figure out how chat overlay. Yes, here we go. Cool. Thank you for being here, Tony. And we will keep it up. You will hear more from us. And yeah, join us every Wednesday at the same time here on this channel. And next week, the topic will be how to calculate your real hourly rate. The real hourly rate is not really what you get paid per hour that you sit at your job, but in your total life. And this is a concept a lot of people are not even aware of, but I tell you guys, it's super interesting. Once you figure that out, you will look at your job, at your earning potential in a very, very different light. So please subscribe, stay tuned, hook up through our emails, all kinds of channel on Twitter. And if you have any questions, please don't shy back. You can write an email to me and to Yasser anytime. Check out Yasser's podcast. Awesome episodes there of a lot of good people that can inspire you as well. And thank you so much. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.